everybody, and welcome to today's webinar, Future Ready Trends in Life Sciences. I'm Tessa Barron, VP of Marketing at On24, and we're the company that powers major life sciences companies from all over the world to create engaging, immersive, and interactive experiences for HCP patients and beyond, and capture all the insights from those experiences, webinars, virtual events, or content hubs, and turn them into insights that their field force and their marketing teams can immediately action to drive an integrated omnichannel journey for their audience. I'm so excited today to have the experts, the leader in healthcare solutions here with us, our partners at Indegene, and their leader, Executive Vice President of Indegene, Gaurav Kapoor, here to share with us their insights that are fresh and, quite frankly, really, really important for all of us as we're thinking about our plans, as we're getting ready for next year, and really getting a look at how the industry is trending when it comes to being ready for the future, how they're thinking about digital adoption, how they're upskilling their workforce, and how they are driving organizational, operational, and cultural change to embrace innovation and be ready for what's next. So before we begin and hand this off to Gaurav to share their research, and then we'll have a discussion after, I want to go ahead and walk you through the experience that you are in right now, powered by On24, to make sure that you get the most of it. So what you'll see are a series of different tools along the bottom of your screen. Check out the speaker bios. Like I mentioned, Gaurav has so much expertise, as well as Indegene. Make sure to follow him. Make sure that you reach out on LinkedIn. Look at all the content that they have. They are a wealth of knowledge. And we are also here to answer your questions. So make sure that you ask them as we're presenting. We're standing by to answer. And for any that we don't get to, we'll be sure to follow up. Check out the related content to continue to explore and learn more. And, as we're presenting, tell us how you think. Give us a reaction. Share a thumbs up. Let's make sure that we know how you're thinking, how you're reacting to this content so that we can continue to make this a two-way experience. And then if after the webinar you still have questions, let us know. We're happy to help. On24 has experts that can continue this conversation about being ready and adopting digital best practices in the new year and beyond. And we have a survey. So don't forget to tell us how you feel about the content and about where you're at in your innovation journey. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Gaurav to go ahead and kick off our content and share the research. Gaurav, over to you.
Thank you, Tessa, for a very nice introduction, and I'm very happy to be on the call. It's a pleasure to be here, and we've been planning it for a while, and pretty much I'm here today to present next 15-20 minutes some of my thoughts, and then we'll open it for chat with the audience. And On24 is it's a very interesting platform. See, what I would have done it live for 100, 200 people. Pretty much you setting our platform where we could share our thoughts pretty much globally. So congratulations for On24 for bringing this to us and helping us to socialize content to a much larger audience. So what I'm going to do is, as you know, Indegene has been in the space for the last 25 years, helping pharma industry, the whole life sciences space to reimagine the world. And we look at reimagining the world from three lenses. How do you make it future ready from sales and marketing? How do you make it future ready from R&D? And then from a compliance and regulatory and medical affairs. So I'm going to share some of our thoughts, what we've seen trends coming in. And these trends are coming in from every 3 years, we do a survey with top 100 to 200 CXO level people and find out what they're thinking. And this is pretty much the summary of those results coming in today. So you would see some trends, and it's a very interesting time in the industry today because of the whole, we are just coming out of COVID. We've got stuck by this last year from Gen AI, and then obviously IRA came in. So there's some very interesting kind of ecosystem developing in which we need to operate in. So you would see some of the relevance of those slides pretty much coming, which could be helpful to you. I already talked about Indegene a bit, but yes, we're quick, pretty much we work at the intersection of healthcare and technology. That's why it's very important for us to see how technology will help, industry become future ready. And that's why every couple of years we do this survey and bring to you. I'm going to talk about a few trends. Before I get into the trends, give you a quick mix of people whom we were kind of interviewed. And you would see that pretty much close to 70% of the people who we interviewed, pretty much SVP and above. So we've talked to the senior leadership, what they're thinking, how their mind is working, and it's across from R&D to manufacturing to commercial. Pretty much we picked up now the whole value chain, and also what we've done is picked up global experience. For us, pretty much very important to see how globally companies are looking at. I'll start jumping into the results of what we saw. The result, the definition, what came in as pretty much what's a future-ready company look like, it's clearly picking up three very important areas. One is obviously being agile, and then second is being resilient, and then competitively positioned. And in that competitive positioning, what we think is coming in is that how customer-centric you are. So pretty much, I would put in as three big pillars coming in from an agility, resilience, and customer centricity as themes, the way the industry is defining future ready. And this is quick. This is a very interesting side. Again, if you look at both the charts on the left hand side, would you say that is future ready being a good goal for the company? And you would see close to 90% of the people saying that that's an important piece that the company has to be future ready. And is it articulated well? I think we are solving the problem there too. I think the industry plus the companies, especially the companies, the top 50 pharma, is actually articulating it also well, and pretty much with the message that what future ready is defined as and how it has to be kind of taken it to the last member in the company. But if you look at my next few slides, you'll start seeing very interesting results coming out. We also looked at what are the three top attributes what make a company pretty much future ready. And I discussed briefly about the customer centricity. Customer centricity come as the number one thing, but I have a slightly different opinion. Is customer centricity being defined well or not? We will discuss that later. Agility is pretty much coming in. Agility being nimble, pretty much being able to respond to the situations which are breaking in our ecosystem today. We should be agile for that. And one of the few answers, as we all know, data and technology are pretty much becoming critical, and they are becoming the currency, which is super important for driving any of the changes. So you saw the leadership definitely wants a company which is future ready, is articulating the vision well. They're also defining what are the three attributes required to be future ready. And obviously, future ready is important for being existent, right? To be existent in business, to survive, it's required. As you saw I obviously articulated to you the companies and the industry want to be future ready, but where it is breaking down, this is a very, very interesting number which is coming in. When we asked most of the people at the CXO level, do you think your organization today is future ready? You will see that only 10% of the company CXO people think that they are future ready. Now that's a big. When we looked at 3 to 4 years ago for industry, when it was getting into a COVID situation, 2018-19. When our surveys were done before, we had seen that the industry always felt between a 60 to 65% of the CXOs would say they're future ready, but there is some incremental stuff to be done. Right now, the numbers are pretty much, this is fairly shocking for us that the industry is right now at 10% of where they have to be. And we will peel it, we peel it a little more when we move future in some of the next slides. But this is an important for us to internalize. The industry is right now at a space where it's feeling a little nervous. What I sense from here is it's nervous. And nervous is, there are 4 key factors coming in. There's a big factor coming in of that they're all coming out of COVID. Some of the COVID revenues don't exist. So they're coming out. Their sales and marketing models are changing. How do you access it, your doctors? Second big area, IRA coming in. How will it play out in the next 4 to 5 years being questioned? The whole thing of Gen AI coming in. What will the Gen AI, what will be the impact? How do we make sure that it gets internalized in the company? What's the change management required? What are the right use cases? What's the regulation impact on this? And then obviously big, which is known to everybody, it is, there is softness in the whole financial market. And then on the financial side, you would have seen biotech getting a little, pretty much in the last 12 to 18 months, getting into a bit of a problem. And the big pharma also being very cautious, very pretty much stopping all discretionary budget. So there are a few areas because of this reason that there is a level of nervousness which is coming in. And if you look at and as I was setting it up, what's the biggest reason now what they're trying to take care of is that whole financial resilience. So while the company wants to be innovative, while the company wants to embrace technology, wants to be agile and move forward looking, but obviously that requires some bit of experiments, some level of new age thinking, and pharma's is not ready to take those big risks right now because of their area of the whole financial softness. So pretty much people want to be very prudent, very cautious, and you see that clearly coming out. And I would say that this is a temporary reason. If 3 years later, when we do the next Future Ready survey, we would find obviously not this as the reason, and talent may be the number one reason to come out, because typically that comes out, in some of our services in the top 2, top 3. But right now it is financial resilience coming out in this uncertain world as the important piece. One of the other, the areas where we looked at that if you want to build, right, how do you want to build? If you want to build a future ready, where do you come in? Where is the gap lying? And you would see that gap lying is especially first one which is coming up is the competing priorities. So that you saw financial resilience. If financial resilience has to be done, then obviously you can only do fewer things. When you have to do fewer things, you will obviously prioritize, and you may leave away some of the experiments and the discretionary calls you're taking. So you will see that that's coming up. That's playing on the mind, and obviously seeing that while the leadership wants to do this, but is there 100% commitment or not? At the board level and at the management level, pretty much, right now that also coming as a reason that people are thinking that if you have to be future ready, it's coming in or not. And then obviously there is change management, operating models, of talent, other things will come into the play. I have talked briefly, and we would chat a little more on how Gen AI and IRA and other reasons are playing on everybody's mind. Now, if you look at what are the, I'm coming into the last few, before I start taking questions. This is an important area that if you're looking at, you want to build future ready organization, at least they have a roadmap or a framework in mind. Most of the organizations, they haven't implemented it because of the, some of the other reasons. But if they had to go where they will have to fill the gap, I see these are the 3 which are coming in, and I strongly back them. I clearly think that the survey comes up with the right results. These are the big bottlenecks. We've spent on technology a lot, and you would see that we have to continue to spend, but more than spending, it's adopting. How do you realize the full potential of that technology? Because buying a technology is easy, but really making sure that it delivers you true value requires a much deeper pull through across the organization. And that's the place where the industry is looking at. How do you really adopt and really make sure that you saw some of these CRMs where the investments went in, campaign, customer experience, platforms where the industry spent on their areas of clinical trials where companies bought more sophisticated systems. But obviously to pull through has taken much more time. And it's like a 7 to 8 year journey. How do you realize full potential? But are there faster ways to adopt this? Obviously, to do this, you will need talent. and clearly comes out that you need a very, very highly skilled talent. This, whether you take and some of the talent may be available inside the sector in our life sciences, but we also have a strong view that life sciences industry should start looking at some of the advanced sectors where these things have already started to play out: the banking, the insurance, the e-commerce, and some of the consumer side. And there are learnings for this to know. So there has to be a blend of talent between pharma and then obviously decision making to be faster. Right now we see a slow decision making, but that's coming in because of the valid reasons I talked earlier. So we will see if once the uncertainty from the financial side and from a pipeline side gets more and more clear, you would see decision making obviously coming up faster. Based on this is my pretty much final slide before I get into questions. Our recommendations is get into true customer centricity. We can obviously define customer centricity better as organizations, and we should do that and demonstrate leadership commitment. I think leadership should take up certain areas where they can really think there could be easy or low-hanging areas where they could show success, demonstrate success for scale. I think some of those technology areas leadership should take a call, and fully backing agility and resilience. I think the industry is fairly agile, fairly resilient anyways. This sector is very, very resilient and stayed. You saw it in COVID. Resilient and innovation both came in very, very strongly demonstrated by the industry. So we are a firm believer this is the best industry in terms of resilience. And then obviously agility is a bit of, when you're a large organization, it requires a different operating model to be agile, and we'll see those changing coming in and to do that. And as I was saying, leadership commitment very closely linked to the targeted use cases. So pretty much, so we saw pharma wants to be future ready for existence. There is a gap. We are pretty much far behind, and we are at 10% where the industry confidence level is. But I think there is a roadmap which can be played out. But we would strongly urge the industry to pick up areas of where there could be calculated risks possible to take, and then move forward. So these are my views, and thank you for giving me an opportunity once again, and thank you for also my co-authors here. This is not my report, or my Indegene has a few other authors here. Manish, my co-founder and CEO with me, he and Milesh, who's the marketing head in the company, they pretty much with me did a lot of heavy lifting on this. I'm pretty much doing the talking. The brain is behind. So thank you for the opportunity.
Well, yes. Well, thank you so much. And what I feel like is so great about what you've laid out here is, as you mentioned, it's a roadmap. So it's clear that people want to be future ready. They don't necessarily have the path to get there. And this really becomes 4 clear imperatives for leaders to think about as we are building North Stars and thinking about how to prioritize across our organization. So let's actually dive into each of these pillars and get a little bit into your best practices, your thoughts, Gaurav. And I'm also seeing questions come in from the audience on these topics. So this is great. And one of the key themes that I'm picking up on is a question that I have, and it's a hot topic that I always discuss with our pharma and med device customers, because the truth is, in life sciences, there are a lot of customers. So if you want to be customer centric, which is clearly a goal that life sciences companies aspire to achieve and embrace, you really need to know who is the customer. So Gaurav, I'm going to ask you, is it the HCP? Is it the patient? Is it the pharmacy? Is it the payer? Who is the customer in life sciences?
Very, very interesting question. And it's a very provocative area to be in. And I know it might take hours to debate, and you may need a couple of panel discussions here. But our point of view is very simple, that the whole industry works for only one reason: to help patients live longer, right? Prevent the disease. And if they get the disease, to live longer. Very simple. Patient is the customer. a patient is our true only customer we should be focused on. Yes, I know we have the payers, the pharmacists, the providers, everybody. Those are influencers and gatekeepers or people helping us. Everybody has their interest, but each of their interest is actually towards, again, the patients. Doctor wants to make sure the patient is treated well with the best drugs with the best drugs available to them. So they are also pretty much, they know who the customer is. It's their patients. Payer also knows. Payer has a limited amount of money to spend, wants to get the best treatment to the doctor and the patient, but will play a balance between what's the incremental value you're providing. So you like a pharmacist will be clearly waiting for the guidelines and the protocols, whatever the prescription is, will deliver on this. So that's a simple question, patients, but I see a lot of still a bit of confusion in the industry, right? I see patient teams separate, reps, sales separate, marketing with HCPs and patients separate, pharmacists separate. So lots of companies will have customer centricity as a theme, patient centricity as a theme, and then I think pharma needs to sort this out, and finally, I think walk the talk.
Yeah, you really can only have one axis, right? Yes. Around which the organization evolves. And I guess what you're saying is, to be truly future ready, you need to be able to plot the ecosystem, the payers, the pharmacists, the HCPs, so that all of them are working in concert with you as a brand to support that patient who's in the middle, versus having multiple solar systems, if you will.
No, exactly. Yeah. When you start looking at from research, you're pretty much building a drug to do an unmet need of a patient where the disease burden is highest and where the survival rate is the lowest, and you start doing that. So you basically, from that pretty much you're thinking of the patient and as industry. So we should stay very, very focused on that and getting the right patient at the right price at the right time and doing the right things there. And that's how internally, people should have a single goal and a single team for customer centricity.
And then a single plan, which simplifies.
Yeah, single plan. A single journey.
Yes.
I see different journeys for patients, different journeys for HCPs, different journeys for multiple, different archetypes of doctors and different archetypes of patients. Bit of work to be done there.
Yeah. And I mean, I think we can all appreciate the complexity. And I feel like you really simplified it to say, if the patient's not at the end of that journey, maybe you should rethink it. And that also might be a reason why we are seeing so many organizations say they don't feel like they're future ready. That 10% number was quite shocking. We got some reactions from the audience here about seeing that. I think we can believe it, but I also think we almost don't want to. So Gaurav, I'm curious, why do you think this is such a low number? And then what is it that those 10% are doing differently? Because, I guess I'm very encouraged by the fact that it's that there are 10% who do feel future ready. So let's celebrate that and use that as a best practice model to follow. So shed some light on that, please.
Yeah, we were also pretty shocked at that number, and tried to check it a couple of times, but this is, and said, "Oh my God, what's happened?" And I think if you stem it, I think the timing of our study, which we've done, pretty much comes at a time when few very disruptive things are happening in the U.S. industry. The US, right? Especially the IRA and the Gen AI being played out at the backdrop of financial constraints being done. And those are reasons why things are, when you're getting out of COVID, you were already trying to solve your problems. That what do you do from a whole sales and marketing model? What are the right practices to do there? And then you come on IRA, and IRA straight away comes and starts making you think that how will you start looking at your clinical development? What will be the drugs you will prioritize? You're prioritizing your portfolio. You're prioritizing your indications. So you have to start thinking which indication to launch. You obviously the largest first, and then otherwise earlier you could think of getting out of the gate pretty early with whatever indications approved. So a lot of thinking is going back into your clinical clinical space, sales and marketing space, and for all this to be solved, now today, you will have pretty much lesser time to monetize the asset which you have, and because there is going to be always a reduction. So those things are playing on people's mind, and clearly that's the reason. And and we think that it will get cleared. And the 10% who are, and we talk to them, and our feeling is that they have started putting teams together, very agile, very smart teams together to actually sort out the whole, what is the next step on IRA, what's the next step on their Gen AI, what are the areas, how in regulations in the best regulated environment, which are the use cases where I can really fast track and see, are there ways to actually then drive efficiency and effectiveness both using this. So some of them are responding quickly. And I think typically, but pharma figures it out. Pharma is very, very smart sector. So we will see this, Tessa, improving maybe in the next 12 to 20 to 18 months. Maybe our team does a quick check again. And I definitely think that number will be above 50% doing. But we have to sort out things quickly on few areas, and hoping the whole financial sector starts kind of supporting the industry, because for innovation that's required. And why we see that also going outside of US, because I see IRA effect is not only US, it will affect globally, because your ability to then provide medicines at the right price in the developing markets too will get constrained. And then industry is also thinking that I strongly kind of recommend that don't think of IRA as only a US phenomena. It'll have global impact. So so that's why we see a bit of nervousness that what's in store for everybody.
Yeah, it's interesting because it sounds like a lot of these concerns about the future stem from bottom line issues, the concentration on margins and so on. And it's not just domestic here in the US, or in a specific region, it's a global problem. And I know we have a global audience today. So this is a really good reminder, I think, that you're sharing with everyone joining us from across the world. And what's interesting, though, is that juxtaposition of innovation, which we typically think of as a growth accelerant. But I think you're saying actually technology and adopting it and having an innovative mindset can help save on the bottom line as well and increase efficiency, which maybe is a good segue into Gen AI. We have a lot of questions coming in just asking what Indegene thinks about Gen AI and the adoption, and if life sciences companies are embracing a world of Gen AI. So could you share where the industry is at on that AI evolution and revolution, really, and how it's potentially allowing for life sciences company to evolve for the future, to be ready for innovation, while also increasing that efficiency that we know is increasing concerns given those other macro trends you just shared?
Yeah. And before going to Gen AI, which is a new phenomena, which will take time to kind of prove its worth and where it gets used best. AI and ML and automation itself is not truly fully adopted in the industry, and we see that first easy steps could be used again with technology. You could do, and there is demonstration of that itself, which can be done at two areas. One on the first from an efficiency side, and then effectiveness side. And then also from our value chain, you can start experimenting on the reimagined clinical trials. So clearly, we see technology and playing out role on the efficiency and the effectiveness side. We also see it coming in across the value chain. And let me give you very simple, few examples, right? Where we are seeing it, AI and ML being played out. We are looking at some of these areas from an efficiency side. We're looking at how some of the global content from the industry, because industry finally, when we sell a pill as an industry to a patient or a doctor, to a doctor, Tessa, we don't sell a pill. Nobody gets a pill. It's a story behind the pill. What's the story? When we're going to an FDA, we are submitting we're submitting bunch of documents. When we're going to a doctor, we're talking about documents. There's a story behind that pill. So basically, it's a content supply chain, starting from early documentation to approval and then marketing. And we are starting to see pretty much between AI and generated content supply chain, where you could really use AI models to pretty much do much faster content and in a much easier way. Whether you developing content into data and then finally building derivative content out of it, or you're building the first drafts of a lot of content today using GenAI with a 60-65% accuracy. And then on top of that, you build the sophisticated teams to review it and do that. So in the content supply chain itself, there's a whole lot of efficiency coming in. Sorry.
Yeah. And I guess speed to market is now especially important, right? I mean,
yes. And if you're looking at reimagining of trials, reimagining of approvals, global submissions, you could actually, and global launches, if you want to launch it in 10 countries across the world, or 5 countries, you could do much faster with the content supply chain being improved using AI and technology. Second area is the data analytics, especially while we continue to improve the data, but we could see simple areas of excellence where data and analytics can start driving personalization especially on patients. You could really start delivering messages, making sure to doctors to help them find the right patients at the right time and give them the right drug. Pretty much in rare diseases and a couple of areas, you can start using data and analytics very, very smartly to actually drive a much more effective sales and marketing play. We believe that the industry today operates between 28 to 35% on sales and marketing and medical. Pretty much using some of these smarter technologies, you could do it much faster. You could do it at 30-40% efficient and at 50% more effectiveness. In doing it. So we are seeing clearly areas here. We are also clearly seeing areas of regulatory and safety. We've clearly demonstrated that using AI and machine learning, you can do safety, which is a very highly people intensive job to be done at 50% faster with 60% less people pretty much using smarter technologies. So you can start. We're reimagining clinical trials where some of the things can be pretty much done again faster. Things which used to be taking 6 months, you could do it pretty much in 2 months. Every quarter saved for a clinical trial helps you to add up in the launch. So, pretty much that's a lot of dollars added on the backside of the drug. So you could really help getting to peak sales plus monetizing the drug for a longer time. So Tessa, lots of interesting topics there.
Yeah, time sounds like the most precious commodity for life sciences companies, and those that figure out how to get the most of it back and maximize their speed to market will win. And it's interesting because AI has come at exactly the right time, but it is still a tool. Most technology is, and as you mentioned, it is very easy to buy technology.
Correct.
It's a whole other thing to adopt it. And it almost seems like at the same time that Gen AI and AI overall can disrupt the industry and help it adopt and adapt to these regulatory constraints, we will have to also innovate how we operate, our go-to-market models. And that is just as important as the technology itself. So can you share how the industry's go-to-market model needs to evolve alongside the technology and make sure that we have people and process in place to get the most out of these kinds of innovations?
Yeah. That's before I get there, one other area, while we talk about technology, the way we talk about vision, realizing we'll do, but this whole thing cannot happen until you get the true talent pool inside.
Yeah.
And, and that talent is also extremely important. We have to really work hard in the industry to actually raise the level of of our people who can really adopt these new generation kind of technologies, work in a way of agile working, because we have worked in a very different style. Our operating models have been very different. And I would say that industry should spend a lot of time in building, in terms of recruiting the right talent. Every company should do now experiments to bring talent from outside. I earlier saw at least 8-10 years ago, there were companies which started to bring in talent, but we could not give the right ecosystem and empower them and give them a responsibility. And we saw a little bit of drain out of them from inside to outside back. But we're seeing now some of the big pharmas again making a very serious attempt to bring some very, very good fresh talent from outside, very smart talent from outside. And I'm hoping that the leadership in those companies can provide them a 3-5 year journey and not start evaluating what they delivered in 12 months, but give them 3 to 5 years to deliver, give them the time, give them the empowerment to do this. And and some of them now coming back, some of them are really redefining the way our go-to-market is. Pretty much, how is it data-driven? Customer engagement. How is it data-driven pay? So how do you find the patient? How do you make sure the patient gets the drug, gets prescribed, gets fulfilled, and then also gets repeated, stays on the drug so that they get cured? Pretty much across a lot of leadership which is coming from outside is redefining that whole piece of personalization. And from what I call pretty much FRX, which is finding the patient, to WRX, which is writing the drug, and then TRX to where we gets the drug repeated. Pretty much, I feel that the whole value chain, go to market is being defined by some of the new generation people coming in. And I'm very excited and looking forward how they will pretty much build execution models on this. On theory, on paper, as an idea, all this looks very easy and very nice, right? I'm talking, and I know what it takes at the back to actually bring this data together and really do these simple experiments and then scale. And I'm hoping some of these guys can deliver on that. But go-to-market will become really exciting. Using digital omnichannel first, you will see pretty much a very interesting way of getting to our patients.
Yeah, interestingly enough, just a few days ago, I was talking to a group of pharma leaders from different brands, and all of them had one thing in common. They all came from outside the life sciences industry. They were from consumer brands. One of them was from had a sports background, the other from a tech background. And I think that just goes to show that life sciences can bring in these best practices from outside. And it's, I think that's hopeful. Were you going to chime in there?
Yeah, I'm and only a word of caution that the industry is a little, regulated. So it's a it's not what exactly I can do in a sports drink brand. I can do the same thing in a oncology brand, or there is very, very, and we should appreciate the regulation. But we should bring those balanced teams. We should bring our very strong regulatory knowledge, institutionalized knowledge to support them, support the medical strategy and the commercial strategy. And I think that it will be a huge way if those teams can work together to find what are the new ways. But yes, I don't want to miss the fact that this industry is definitely more regulated and different. But we have to solve it. If we have to make sure that we get the patients the right drug faster and better. And today there are so many unmet needs still where the industry is trying to solve some of the rare disease problems, and lots of areas in oncology, immunology, and even areas like diabetes and cardiovascular, where it's still a long way to go.
Yes. But at the end of the day, like you said, it is about the patient, and a patient is human. So having that balance of those who have that experience of really connecting with the end user and leveraging an ecosystem along the way will be helpful to, of course, bring some knowledge and again, balance to the compliance and regulatory experts that is so critical. So I think it's great that we are providing a path forward that is right down the middle. And that's what it sounds like, right. In my experience is occurring. I guess, we're running out of time. We've had so many questions come in. I think everyone out there is really wanting to just pick your brain, Gaurav. So I guess to wrap this up, the real question is, any tips that you have, as we know that right now the industry feels only 10% feels that they're future ready. So what is, one thing or a few things that we can do differently to help get closer to this idea of being future ready and demonstrate progress against these 4 pillars that you've laid out?
That's a loaded question. I'm pretty much.
Well, I
have
no
my point of view, but
yeah.
I industry is smart enough, and there are many of my friends in the industry who will figure this out. But my clear, submission or my advice would be that clearly keep thinking how we can improve the whole patient care using data and technology. Keep doing some experiments and then scale, but don't lose out on looking at and embracing new knowledge which is available today. There's so much happening. When I look at across the world, there are so many good experiments happening. We need to just keep our open to new ideas and make sure that you're able to scale, work on them and scale. So I just tell the industry to just be open to new ideas. What we've been doing, a lot of things for the last 60, 70 years, we've been doing it well, we've scaled it well, but it's now time to build some hybrid, true hybrid and digital first models and across the value chain. We've been doing the same way our clinical trials for 30 years. It's time, 30, 40 years, it's time to change. If we've been doing our sales and marketing with some incremental, but we have to think of a very different way to do. Pharma has done actually very, very fortunately a lot of experiments on the research side. Very impressive work on the research side, but that experimentation and the ability to be innovative and agile hasn't worked on the right-hand side of the value chain. So I would say my last piece of advice would be, we've been the most innovative company. Sector. We pretty much saved the earth during the COVID. In 11 months, pretty much came up with a vaccine, which is like,
Absolutely.
which is like, huge stuff. But now, why not start bringing the whole piece to the right, the whole ability to do innovation on the right, much more aggressively and with business outcomes. Thank you.
Yeah, and I mean, even just a tip, I think, to summarize is experiment and ask questions. I really applaud many of our customers who invite different innovation partners to come in and share what other industries are doing. Ask your technology software partners, ask consultants like yourself to give you a view into what others are doing so that you have some confidence to start trying out and not feeling like you have to get it perfect from the beginning. I think that really, doing is better than not doing, because that's the only way we'll chip away at that 10%.
I have talked to many C-suite and CC level at the biotech, mid pharma, big pharma in my last 2 years. And a lot of people surprise me when they say that we're waiting for the COVID to finish and we will go to the pre-COVID times, it'll become normal. They're not ready to look at that there's a new normal, and why not live with the new normal? World has always, every 50 years or 100 years, done a drastic change. And why would you try to go back to what you did before? And why not think it gives you an opportunity to actually think forward? And this surprises me. Why would still some of the leadership think like that? And I would strongly urge for them to think forward and
let's leapfrog, right? That's the point. Yeah. I think there was so much that was learned. We can't look back. That's just not going to get us moving forward. So with that, I know we are out of time, and time has been a very important theme. So I want to make sure that we are respecting your time, and we're going to have to wrap up. But like I said, for those of you who have questions that went unanswered, we will be sure to follow up. And we have some questions for you. We want to hear what's on your mind, what your thoughts are about being future ready. So make sure that you fill out the survey. You can see it right now in the front of your screen. Tell us what you think it's like to be be a future-ready company. Share with us your priorities and how much you agree with some of these insights. And that maybe will fuel our next conversation, Gaurav. We can have a debate that is based upon what we heard from the audience today. And of course, if you enjoyed this experience and want to understand more about the platform powering it, we'd be happy to give you a demo to share with you how you could deliver a live virtual experience just like this one to your audience and help make that part of your future ready plan, or get consulting and expertise advice from our partners at Indegene. With that, we're going to wrap up. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you on our next experience. And special thanks to Indegene for sharing their insights today. Goodbye, everybody.